What's up, guys? Matthew getting ready to watch episode 1127 of One Piece. Last we saw Luffy and Kizaru have started to fight two of the top fighters in the entire verse. So I am very excited to see how this goes. Obviously, when you have someone as cool and as suave and with an amazing power like Kizaru, combined with Luffy, whom it needs no explanation on how fun and creative and badass he is. So I think I mentioned it last couple episodes. I don't know how long this fight would last. If it would be a sprint 1-2 punch episode, or if it would be a long, drawn out 15 episode battle. I don't know. Strength wise, I would assume a long, drawn out battle, but because of just the vibe of Egghead, the fast paced, chaotic nature of it, I could see it only lasting a couple episodes. So I'm very interested to see how it goes. We had Alkainu being a bum last episode, couldn't catch Kuma, so I'm ready to see where we're going. I wonder if we're going to keep following Kuma. Again, I would assume Kuma is coming to Egghead. I don't know why he flew directly over the path of the capital, but hey, he must know what he's doing. I'm very happy into it. I'll obviously yap a lot at the end. If you guys like the video, please drop a like and leave a comment. It really helps me out. I have got the full-length directions up on Patreon. And if you enjoy the content that I make for the channel, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. Let's get into it. You know, it was like there was like a gunshot through the heart of all of the Vegapunks when that robot died. And this thing. Like, again, I don't know if it's a living, breathing creature or it's just a high-tech suit of armor. I don't know if it's a giant who's been sleeping. I will say, Luffy is so overpowered now, and obviously Zoro and Sanji and Jinbei get a lot of big fights and big moments. I really do want to see the other Straw Hats get some character moments or some big fights or anything like that. They just... Well, I feel like they have the Usopp Chopper Nami roll of scared laughing in the corner. It's like a roller coaster for him. He's having fun. Oh my god, the clouds. The greatest duo in the show. He's fine. Kaku? Kaku looks so unimpressed. Why is she so violent? Oh, I got goosebumps. Don't do me like that. I thought we were immediately getting flashback. I don't think that's a good idea. I think you guys should be smart enough to understand that they don't want to break the entire place down. Well, I mean, as long as you have one of the Vegapunks alive, right? He probably has it in place where he can transfer his memory or something like that. Completely over. She was sent by Kizaru. He's questioning your manliness, Frankie! Uh-oh. He's doing his classic Sanji leaving the group, doing something badass or secretive. They're about to be pummeled. These Vegapunks are gonna have to start falling down one by one. With the amount of Marines going to this island, there's no, like... There's no staying here. We would all have to leave. Damn, thought he slapped my ass. What's going on? So either we're taking all of the Vegapunks to Elbaf, or they're gonna be picked off one by one until we have one left. He's the main character. I mean, even if it doesn't make sense verse-wise, or at least it shouldn't make sense verse-wise, it's fine. It's Monkey D. Luffy. He can do whatever he wants. And we still love him. It's interesting. They could do a similar thing with Momo. Or Kinemon. You know, that whole storyline. Her power is changing the age of things. She might be younger or older than it's actually looked like she's portrayed. I could see that. I don't want to say something crazy like a is it Toki situation where was born in the voice entry or something like that, but or she's 2 years old. You guys are getting cooked, man. I gotta be honest. I love One Piece. The idea of her turning into a child to fight better is crazy. Hey, I'll take it. I still got the memories of when I was younger. No! Dude, the people who got turned old got the short end of the stick. That is unfair. It's One Piece, he is so unbelievably fun. After 10 episodes of rest, he will stand up and fight someone. Sentomaru saved her. Damn, she's about to break her neck. I still can't believe how badass this man has been in this arc, and like just thinking back to some of his original appearances, the Sabaody, Marineford, and Return to Sabaody, like I was like, towards him. Zoro versus Lucci. This is the same exact thing as my conversation about Luffy Kizaru. Lucci should win, but because of how popular and how strong and how focused on Zoro is, I'm putting 100% of my chips on Zoro. And it's I don't want to sound like I'm complaining or anything like that. But it is kind of disheartening sometimes how just post time skip, it's just Zoro Sanji, you know, getting a big important fight with Luffy taking down the main guy, and then the rest of the Straw Hats just standing around. That's all that it's become. Oh my god! Oh, I give him props! He's clean with it. Zoro, that is. Oh. Oh, yeah, are you gonna use him? You just lifting your feet up? I thought you were gonna turn your boots on. Ooh. We should be down at the bottom, right? Oh. We're in the same come on. You're interrupting my battlefield. Oh. Some good choreography on this fight. That form looks so scary. But, oh, I can fly. I just expected like a bullet to go through him. Beautiful. Look, he has the. First of all, is he awakened? Oh wait, no. Wait. Logies don't. No, that's Parametheus, right? I mean, I just mean like, can he like put the full light of like a supernova into the eyes, or a quasar? Can he just put the full light of that in someone's eyes and blind them? Oh my god. A tiny little scratch. Can't even tell what's with the blue screws? it looks like like fireworks. I mean, and it's, to be quite honest, all One Piece fights nowadays look like fireworks, but with Kizaru involved, it's even worse slash better. Oh my god. What's wrong with his eye? They're getting one-tapped, man. Like little fireflies? Oh my god, dude. You need to get a couple more. You're only doing like 4 or 5 at a time. Again, his power, it's weird, but it fits so perfectly with One Piece and with Luffy. Like, it's really... I know people overrate Oda's ability to plan ahead. Not because he can't, but because he's a go-with-the-flow writer, like a George R. R. Martin. I think people don't understand that. But I do wonder how far ahead he had this power, Gear 5, planned. Oh my god. His laugh is so iconic. Come on, Kizaru. Don't hurt my Usopp! Edison? Oh wow, he's coming back for vengeance? Oh no, he dipped. What is that thing? What's the point of the wheels if we're in a ball? Child. Wow! So yeah, she is younger than... She actually looks like, so makes Sanji look even more like a creep. Not gonna lie. Makes me look like a creep? Am I a creep? What's going on? Am I being arrested right now? Why are the FBI in my room? Luffy's gonna block it. Don't worry. They're just standing there and taking it. Burn his mouth. Are you good? You burning all of your insides. Oh my god. He's become a flashlight. A portion. I was gonna say just a tiny area and then you're undoing it. I was gonna say, are we undoing the whole thing for like 5 seconds? That's a risk. Oh wow, that's awesome. Come on, Vegapunk couldn't have had a disguise or something? Put earplugs into these things. Wipe out? Murder all of the Navy soldiers? Where does that come from? Like, that's an artificial power. So, is it coming straight from the tongue? You good, Saturn? Is it time for you to step in? This man getting ready to step up? Hello? Hello? Obviously, another fantastic episode. The action was great. That's something that I think Egghead has really impressed me with. Again, the fights in One Piece are a little weird in the sense of some of them last 2 minutes and then others last 30 episodes. So it's kind of hard, especially like as an anime only viewer, to power scale or compare people, because you really can't, because it's very blatantly the tempo of a fight controlled by the pacing. You know, every once in a while you will have like a Shanks Kid fight where it is bing bang boom, you're done. But for the most part, it feels like evenly matched fights. Just some of them last 5 minutes and some of them last an eternity. That being said, no matter how long the fights lasted, like I would say even in Wano, like the fights weren't really typically that good. Like there's obviously, Usopp Luffy, even, Katakuri Luffy. There's some standout fights. But I think for the most part they kind of felt a little boring. This arc, I'm not shitting on the show, this is one of my favorite shows of all time. Don't take this out of context. But looking at this arc specifically, I think that the choreography has been really good. Very good. I think that all of the fights, and again, this has been a fast pace, it's been a chaotic, it's been an uncontrollable arc so far, and we've had a good, decent, like 6 or 7 major fights. That's not including off Egghead, because we've, we've had a lot of unique fights. We had Shanks Kid, Blackbeard Law, which was a fantastic fight, quite honestly. Looking at it just like pure, like entertainment wise, like that might have been one of my favorite fights of the whole show, especially for like a 1-episode fight. Whatever Garp did on Hachinosu, like the fights have been phenomenal this arc. And I think the highlight of it for me this episode was the Zoro Lucci fight. The choreography was very fun, very fast paced. In a fight like whenever Luffy is involved in Gear 5, it's weird, it's goofy in a good way. I will say my only complaint about it's funny. I'm not one who, I don't care about animation. As in like the quality, the this, the that. I loved watching old One Piece, like it was perfectly fine for me. I will say the one thing that I don't like about modern day One Piece, since I've caught up, and it's been prevalent since Wano and Egghead, so it's only been involved in 2 arcs. The animation is not uniform. It's not consistent. It feels like they have 18 art styles that they pull out, and it feels like some episodes they put millions of dollars into the budget, and then some episodes they put in a couple $100,000. Like you can vividly see those differences. And to me, the biggest difference is the animation in Gear 5. I don't like it. I like the visuals. I like what's going on, but it's something that One Piece does nowadays. When they get into a really fast-paced arc, they change the art style to make the lines really, really thin, and I think it makes it look sloppy. Again, this is just a thing I've noticed. I'm not complaining, because I love the show. I mean, and again, I'll repeat, I've never been one who really cares about animation. If I can easily understand what's going on, you know what I mean, and I am. It's just compared to the regular art style, I think that it is definitely a little worse. And again, because it's not consistent, it's jarring to look at when it changes randomly. So that'd be my only sort of slight complaint. But again, seeing Luffy in that form is awesome. Seeing his creativity and his freedom and his dreams just encapsulated in goofiness is awesome. It really is. Kizaru, I want Kizaru to step up some more. Again, it's one of the, I keep saying this, and this will be the last time I say it, but I want to try to find the right words. Like, looking at it from a meta perspective, like looking at it outside the story, I know that Luffy would win the fight. I know that Luffy would win 99.9% of fights that he gets in currently in this form, because he's the main character. He's Luffy. He has to win. But it just... I've never been a fan of the idea that in, like less than a year of sailing on the ocean, essentially, getting rid of the 2-year time skip, he is the strongest being in the universe. You know what I mean? Stronger than people like a Kizaru, who's been at the highest, one of the highest positions in the Marines for decades, or the Zoro Lucci. I feel like these last couple episodes, people are gonna take this out of context and just assume that I hate the show when I absolutely love the show. So like I'm sorry for looking maybe like a Debbie Downer, but with the Zoro and Lucci stuff, like, yeah, it's Zoro. I'm gonna have to vote on Zoro. Like, it's, you know what I mean? He's the second most focused on character fight wise in the Straw Hats. He's always been built up as the strongest. Yes, he would win the fight, but Lucci has been a trained contract killer for the government for decades. Like, he should be stronger. So, again, it's not a huge deal because it's One Piece. It's not, you know what I mean? This isn't the darkest, most serious story of all time. I can look over certain things. But it's just the main thing that it stems from, the thing that's really getting annoying for me, and this is the one thing out of all the stuff I've said in this episode, this is my first complaint. Like, the thing that I think is genuinely sucky post time skip the lack of focus on the Straw Hats, not just, I said it before on my channel, the storyline wise, like that's what I watched One Piece for. It's for the storylines, it's for the character arcs, and character arc wise, post time skip, we've only had one character arc, and that's Sanji. One in Whole Cake. That's insane. That is insanely low. I will say. But even then, as someone who doesn't really care about fights, they don't get fights anymore either. The normal bumpkins, Nami, Usopp, Brook, and you know what I mean. They don't do anything. Brook had one good arc in Whole Cake. You know what I mean. Usopp had one good arc in Dressrosa, and other than that, they don't do anything. That's a complaint. I will say that that's a complaint because I love them so much. I said it in the middle of the video, but I just recently did my top 50 One Piece characters, and obviously all of the Straw Hats made it in. Zoro being my least favorite. I love Zoro. Don't get it twisted. I love Zoro. He's just my least favorite of my loved. He's my least loved. But yeah, something very interesting this episode. I wouldn't say I predicted it, even though I just genuinely 5 minutes before it got revealed, I floated the idea of Bonnie being younger. Again, I didn't. It's one of those things. One Piece likes to keep the simplest things from you. The simplest, like the stuff that like doesn't, you know what I mean? Like they over exaggerate how important the plot twist is, and you know what I mean. So like when you get fooled by it, you're like, oh, that's awesome. But when you think of it, you're like, why did they keep that from me? Like the obsession with, you know, making it look like people are like pure blood family members, and then just don't end up being family. It's one of those things like, okay, you got me. I guess you got me again. And you know, different powers and stuff like that. But you know, it was just one of those things. Like the minute I saw her, I didn't think of it the first time she did it in the arc, but when she did it, changed her age right there, I was like, wait a minute. Be very easy for her to be any age whatsoever, but she is younger. Vegapunk revealed that she is younger, a child. So I would assume anywhere from like 14 to 8, something like that. She's very. It's funny. If she's being compared to a child, or she is a child, she's the same exact mental and emotional intelligence as Luffy. So she's the exact perfect match for Luffy. And I can throw that out again. One Piece is never a show where you ship or you expect relationships or anything like that. But I do remember me saying earlier in the arc, like before, way before, maybe, you know, the first couple episodes of my channel, that far back, that if you were to put a gun in my head and say, hey, Luffy needs to enter a relationship, who's it with? I probably would have said Bonnie. But now, obviously, FBI, do not arrest me. I apologize for saying something like that. I really do. Yeah, I do wonder how old she is. This episode was pretty good with the. I'm gonna keep mentioning it because it's gotten into a real problem, and it's one of those. I'm talking about fan service. I'm not like. Fan service doesn't ruin a show for me, but when you get consistently terrible at it, it starts to become a problem. This episode got a pass. It got what, one little ass shot, and other than that, it was pretty good. So please keep it at that rate. I'm not some religious zealot or something that, oh, boobs. No, but we don't need it. We don't need it. And we don't need it. And if you're gonna do it with a woman, give me Luffy ass again from Amazon Lily. Let me see some more cheeks. But that was a really good episode. Again, I'll say it again. I don't know how long the Luffy Kizaru fight is gonna last, because the two of them don't, like, again, with Kaido, because of how OP he was, the fight was insanely stretched out. Pun intended. One Piece pun intended. But I feel like for the most part, a Luffy in Gear 5 is better suited for shorter sprints of a fight, not long drawn out, because of his down, you know, I mean, his weaknesses and you know, all that. He can be exploited, I think, if you keep him in for the long run. But I feel like Kizaru, out of anyone in the verse, would have the endurance to do that. So I'm very excited to see how long this is going to go. And I do wonder what. And just being like lengths and stuff like that. I wonder how long that arc is going to be in general. Like how many episodes? Like it's something I still don't know. I don't necessarily want to know, but it's just something I'm thinking about. Because, I mean, like shit's about to be about. I feel like Saturn is about to get involved. And you know, obviously we saw silhouetted powers. You know how they love to do silhouettes. Back in Mary Joao with the Sabo and Cobra stuff. But I will say I don't have a problem with it because it's just the nature of not just any power story, but specifically One Piece. Like, you think you're the strongest, and then they introduce 20 characters that are stronger. You know what I mean? So I feel like, we had a good recollection of the top 20 strongest characters in the verse, and then, you know what I mean, they introduce Revolutionary Army members, and they introduce the Gorosei actually have powers and all this stuff. So there's always going to be a bigger fish to fry. Again, I would assume that Saturn would have to be stronger than the. Well, I would assume that all of the Gorosei are stronger than the admirals, which again is a little weird. Again, just looking at like the entire verse, you know what I mean? It's a little weird that they would make the Gorosei, and this isn't a complaint. I don't want anyone to think I'm complaining. I'm just talking out loud. It is a little awkward that you would give the Gorosei such strong, intense powers, making them some of the strongest people in the verse, making them considerably stronger in my eyes than admirals, because I feel like Akainu should be one of the major villains, or at least have like a major end game, you know what I mean, standoff with Luffy. So sort of make it so that if we ever, if Saturn does get involved, and if Luffy fights Saturn, a fight with Akainu isn't going to look as deadly or as dangerous because we already fought Saturn. Same thing with like, I'm just wondering about the end game, because like, to me, the end game villain should be Blackbeard. I think he's the perfect foil for Luffy. I really do. Again, he doesn't have to be like the last second fight, but I mean, I feel like he really should be the last villain. But then they go and introduce someone like Im, who, you know what I mean? It's Im. It feels like it's that entity is so powerful that they need to be the final thing we handle. But I don't know. Again, the order of the orcs, because again, we still have we've got Elbaf, we've got Lodestar, we've got Laugh-Tale. I would assume that we're gonna have some sort of marine arc. Okay, a second marine ford. I don't know if that would be on Laugh-Tale. If the location of Laugh-Tale gets leaked or whatever. I don't know where that would be. And then the only other arc that I would think that we kind of need is a Hachinosu arc. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we're gonna do Hachinosu. We beat Blackbeard and we defeat Blackbeard, and then he's not in the end game. Like, I would be very disappointed if they do that, because I love Blackbeard. I've always said this the last like maybe year. My dream for a Laugh-Tale arc would be a fatal four-way of pirate crews. It would be the Straw Hats, it would be the Blackbeard pirates, it would be the red-haired pirates, and then it would be Cross Guild. And we have a nice, clean fatal four-way on that island, where first person to get knocked down is Shanks. Blackbeard kills Shanks right in front of Luffy. That enrages, you know what I mean? Then Luffy and Blackbeard fight to the absolute death. And while all that is happening, Buggy takes the One Piece and becomes the king of the pirates. Again, not for eternity or anything like that. Maybe just gets his hands on the One Piece and Morgan takes a picture of it, and that's how, you know what I mean, at least for the world, that someone has gotten the One Piece. That's how I would want it to be. And then Luffy very quickly establishes the fact that he has it. I would absolutely love that. No matter what, Buggy is getting his hands on the One Piece. That is a guaranteed fact. That man can fail upwards to become the ruler of the universe. So. But that was a great episode. I really liked it. I'm really excited. Again, I think I mentioned this a lot last couple weeks too. I'm a little scared because we've come back from break like about a month ago now, and the longest break they've ever done. You know what I mean? That 6-month gap. But typically, instead of going on large gaps, they just would do 2 or 3 episodes in a row, and then they take a week off. So I'm still waiting for that week off where I'm disappointed and I go on Crunchyroll on Sunday morning and it's just not there. So let's hope and pray that we have an episode next week. So I will see you guys hopefully next week, 100% for the next episode of One Piece. If you guys like the video, please drop a like, leave a comment. It really helps me out. I have got the full-length reactions up on Patreon to the entirety of the Egghead arc. And finally, the most important thing, if you enjoy the content that I make for the channel, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. Again, it really does help me out. You guys have a good one.